What's up guys, this is Chris, and in this video I'm going to give you a no-nonsense quick tutorial on investing in crypto in 2021. This is not going to be a super in-depth technical analysis of how Bitcoin works, but I'm going to give you a brief overview of just all that you need to know and then the 5 main ways that you can start investing in Bitcoin or other currencies here today. And by the way guys, if you could, please give this video a huge thumbs up if you get a lot of value out of it. So cryptocurrencies refer to currencies that are traded digitally over the internet. They run on a unique blockchain network, which is essentially a peer-to-peer self-verifiable chain of blocks of information, and each block contains transactional history. These coins or tokens on their respective networks are designed with a finite amount that can be produced. All right, miners use specialized hardware and a lot of electricity to mine for things like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other cryptocurrencies. Generally, the network is programmed so that the reward for mining for the coin decreases over time. So that total supply is of course again finite, and the new supply of coin goes down. So as demand goes up, theoretically, the price of the coin is going to appreciate. And while each currency in their network may have respective advantages and disadvantages, use cases, generally speaking, Bitcoin and Ethereum are the top 2 players in this market. All right, Bitcoin, for example, has been around for around 12 years, and Ethereum has been around for almost 6 years. A lot of the other smaller coins are going to be smaller in value, going to be relatively newer, and they're going to have more niche use cases. They're probably going to be more speculative, but they could have more upside as a result. And those are going to be coins such as Dogecoin, Ripple, XRP, and Stellar Lumens. The growth of crypto is really staggering, with a cumulative market cap of over $2 trillion was hit just a few days ago. The price of Bitcoin now is over $55,000 as of this recording, and over the past year, Bitcoin is up an astounding 700%. Not many investments can claim that status, right? You can see here on this chart that the price of Bitcoin follows multi-year cycles, and the last super cycle, for example, this price of Bitcoin went up like 10x. So there is a lot of optimism here, especially as institutional investors and the wealthy get more on board with the idea of putting their wealth towards crypto. The inflows have been amazing. And, even the harshest critics like Kevin O'Leary, for example, who once called Bitcoin a nothing burger, is now investing 3% of his wealth into Bitcoin. The price and trading volume of crypto-related stocks have gone to the moon, and transaction volume on exchanges is also at all-time highs. There are many voices, even in the traditional financial community, that say that Bitcoin could reach a price of $100,000 in the near-term futures. Therefore, it really warrants learning more about how to gain investing exposure into this growing market. So before we get into the 5 different ways that you can invest and get some exposure into the crypto market, I do want to give a shout out to Webull. They do offer crypto trading on their platform. They also have real-time analytics, a lot of great data on that platform, charting included. So if you want to check that out, you can click on the link in the description down below. And that leads into the first way that you can invest in cryptocurrencies, which is buying the direct coin on an exchange. All right, so there are exchanges like Coinbase and Kraken. They have millions and millions of users, and it's super easy to get started on these platforms, and you can buy and sell different coins and tokens. On Coinbase, for example, I believe they offer around 45 coins that you can buy and sell, and further around 45 again that you can store on the exchange. Keep in mind though that if you want ultimate security of your coins, you need to have it on your own digital wallet. If you have it on the exchange, of course, there is the the low but certainly possible chance that these exchanges could get hacked and your coins could get stolen. Something could happen with the exchange, it goes bankrupt or something, I don't know. There have been instances, if not in the United States, then in different countries around the world, where exchanges go under and your coins are gone. So that is something to keep in mind, but for the average investor, this is probably more of a hassle than a necessity. Now, obviously, as the value of those respective coins goes up on the exchanges, then you could always sell them for a profit, or you can just hodl, like the community likes to say, hold on for dear life, or just hold your coins until they go until 100,000 and 200,000, a million a coin someday. Who knows if that is going to be the case, but it is up to you whether or not you want to be a short-term investor or long-term investor. And additionally, not to mention, there are now methods where you can earn interest on the coins that you hold on an exchange. So right now, for example, there are some where they're paying 3% for Ethereum or 5-6% for Bitcoin if you have a certain amount in there. But do keep in mind that whenever you trade currencies on exchanges, you do have to pay small amounts of fees. Now, the second method that you can do is invest in mining companies. These are companies that are partially or wholly operated for the purpose of mining cryptocurrencies. Oftentimes, they're going to be Bitcoin and they're going to be Ethereum because, again, those are the two main ones. They are, two of the more expensive currencies, obviously. And so if these companies can get thousands of machines on board, a lot of the top tier ones have tens of thousands of machines. And by 2022, they're going to, some of them like MARA, for example, MARA, this company is going to have 100,000 plus machines that are operating solely for the purpose of mining Bitcoin. At that scale, with that power, they're aiming for 55 to 60 Bitcoins a day. You do the math, if it stays $55,000 a Bitcoin, then that's over $3 million a day. That's $1.2 billion of revenue a year. And you can see the opportunity to scale even further, obviously, if they got more machines on board and the price of Bitcoin obviously went up. If it did go to 100,000, for example, then that's almost $2 billion in revenue, and so on and so forth. These are companies that definitely have a huge exponential growth potential. And some of them, besides MARA, you have Riot, ROIT, you have BTBT, Bit Digital, and you have, of course, Clean Spark, CLSK. The third thing that you can do to invest in this space is obviously go to those mining machine companies, right? The ones that are producing the equipment that those mining companies are ordering machines from by the thousands. Just in the past few days, I believe Riot Blockchain placed a big order in the tens of thousands. So companies constantly have to replace these machines due to wear and tear from being on pretty much 24/7, trying to get those coins out and making some money. And of course, new machines are invented and are more efficient. And so these companies are going to continue to have more business coming to them. All right, so that's going to be, for example, a company like Canon, CAN, which is operating in China. I also believe it has some operations in the United States. The fourth thing you can do to invest is actually invest in those crypto exchanges, right? Not buying and selling coins on those exchanges, but the exchanges themselves. So I'm talking about Coinbase is going to IPO very soon, on the 14th, I believe, of April this month. And there's also a company on the OTC market called Voyager Digital. Okay, this is a stock that especially has gone parabolic, man. This was like cents on the dollar, and now it's in the 20s by my last check. This company has gotten exponential growth on its revenue too to match that stock price. So when you look at Voyager Digital's month-to-month changes, we're talking about 10x per month, right? That's just, I don't know what's happening there, but it's incredible. The user base has gone amazingly through the roof as well. So that is something that definitely attracts a lot of people. But, going back to Coinbase, this is the biggest exchange out there, and they're doing about 9x Q1 2021 compared to Q1 2020. So again, exponential growth is all over this space. And if you want diversified revenue and not necessarily have to rely on the price of Bitcoin going up, you can always go with these exchanges, which make their money through fees from transactions. Big institutions also use exchanges like Coinbase too, so they're moving a lot of money through there. And the last way you can invest in this space, number 5, is going to be invest in companies that have some exposure to Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies. All right, when I say other exposure, I mean companies like Square or PayPal that is allowing transactions, buying and selling, using their services nowadays. It's not the main part of their business, so it's more like an auxiliary play, but it's there, right? And they get some boost if Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are more widely adopted, right? They're one of the first movers for offering in the case of Square, they have Cash App, they can also buy and sell, but also PayPal, you can conduct transactions with their merchants with Bitcoin. All right. And you also have companies like MicroStrategy, which converts its cash balance to crypto. And if crypto goes up, their cash balance goes up. So it's like that company, gets free money. There are a couple other companies like that. So that's definitely one way you can play it. And as a bonus one, there is GBTC, which acts similarly to an ETF. They're a trust that holds Bitcoin and other currencies. There are going to be more cryptocurrency ETFs in the future, so this is always a way you can invest. An ETF, once again, is pretty much a portfolio that's set up for you. It has different currencies in there at different percentages by a fund manager who sets it up. But at the end of the day though, guys, keep in mind that the price of Bitcoin is obviously very volatile. We saw in that chart earlier that this thing, sure, it can go 10x up, but it can also go down a lot for a sustained period of time, sometimes, 50, 60, 70, 80%. So while there's going to be more institutional acceptance and probably that volatility is going to come down, you should still expect to see a lot of fluctuation. And there's also the risk of regulation and the government getting involved in things. We've seen that with Ripple, for example, XRP, which is being investigated, and there's a whole situation there, and a lot of exchanges are not allowing people to buy and sell. So that's a big problem if you keep your Ripple on the exchanges and you can't do anything about it. Governments themselves also may try to create their own digital currencies. We're seeing that in China. There's talk about it in the United States. Lastly, at the end of the day, there are just a lot of coins, especially the altcoins, that are highly speculative, and really a lot of them may not survive or work out. Doge, for example, was made as a joke. There are a couple other ones too that are, in a similar vein. I'm not saying Doge is necessarily going to fail, but, just from their origin, you can kind of get the sense that there are some of these that are probably not going to be here long term. Whether or not any of these coins really turn out to be widely adopted and widespread use as far as everyday life, people are using these to conduct transactions, remains to be seen, right? The main draw to a lot of these currencies is that it's decentralized. Anyone from anywhere in the world can trade with each other for services and products. So we're going to have to see if that comes to fruition. But if you understand all the risks and you put a reasonable amount of money into cryptocurrencies, that might just turn out to be a smart move here. So with that being said, guys, that is the quick introductory guide to investing in cryptocurrency and the space. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments down below, which currency are you investing in? Are you investing in a lot of different currencies? I will also be having more crypto related videos in the future, so make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay well and invest responsibly.